You get it. Wait. Fine. Live with pink fuzz in your teeth. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing a highly requested video that we had done previously. However, when I revamped our channel, I removed it. So this is our new one, and it will hopefully help to explain what exactly Henry does for me. If you guys are over here from our Instagram for Henry's 40K giveaway, just like this video, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and then comment your dog's name down below, and that'll enter you in for the giveaway. It's a YouTube only giveaway, although I will be announcing the winner on Instagram probably in about 2 weeks. Like probably right as we get into the new year. Yeah, right as we get into the new year, sounds good. So without further ado, let's tell them what you do. Unfortunately, all of his toys are squeaky. I don't know who bought all of those. Actually, I can't even be blamed for this one. It was Taya. Anyways, okay. So Henry does like a bunch of different jobs or tasks for me, ranging from psychiatric to what I consider mobility and medical response. Basically, for his psychiatric tasks, Henry does light pressure therapy, which is exactly what it sounds like. It is light pressure, either on my shoulder, on my lap, or if I'm standing, on my leg, and it's up against my leg. He also does, if I am crying, which does not happen a lot, but if I'm crying, Henry will always come up and he will do a lick, but it has to be genuine. If I fake it, he knows. He will do that also to anyone who is crying, so it's not just specific to me, unfortunately. I wish that he only cared when I cry, but he cares when everyone cries. So he will do that, and he'll come up and lick your face, and that's like a form of, I guess, what you would call tactile stimulation, but watch people call me out for that, because I've always just been like, yeah, it's a lick. But it's a lick in response to something, and tactile stimulation, I think, has to be in specific places. I don't know. Who knows? But that is his psychiatric things. He has a couple other psych things that I don't exactly share, just because it's tough for me to share what it is all about. I'm sure you guys understand, because a lot of people have things that, like, although I would freaking love to share it with you guys, I like can't even talk about it. So I digress. Those are those couple psych tasks. He also does tasks to help me with my POTS and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. POTS stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and I will get into those things in another video because it would make this too long to get into them. But basically, he does response. He does, and then he does what's the word? The brain fog is real. Prevention. That doesn't sound like the word, but it is a word. He does response, prevention, and then he has like an emergency response as well. So in terms of his prevention, if I am walking around the house and I drop something, or alternatively, if I'm cleaning up or doing laundry or getting undressed, and there's an item on the floor, whether it's clothes or maybe it's my shoes, maybe it's just random things around the house if I'm cleaning, or something that I dropped in the store, Henry's able to pick it up and just hand it back to me. That way I'm not bending over, because with my condition, bending over, especially for me, is just basically asking to pass out or black out. So by not having to bend over and grab those items, I'm at a lower risk for having to pass out, especially when it's things like laundry, where it's generally like a continuous motion of bending down, picking things up. That's when it's extremely, extremely helpful that he is there. So he picks up the items. I consider that like a mobility thing, because my mobility is restricted and he helps to unrestrict it. You know what I mean? Anyways, so that is his prevention. And then his response, which I wish that he had a alert. And if you follow us on Instagram, you know that we're really excited right now, because Henry is showing a lot of promise and indications that he's actually picking up on something going on with me and alerting me to it by doing a nose bonk on my leg, which we've never ever taught. He's doing like consistent nose bonks. I'm 99% sure it's either related to my heart rate or my blood pressure. We shall see. So I will update you guys on that later. But in terms of things that he absolutely 100% does, his response is when I am already in like a POTS episode where my blood pressure is low, my heart rate is increased, and where I'm feeling like I'm gonna pass out or blacking out in general, I can either sit down or lay down and have Henry lay across my legs. And because he's 65 pounds, he cuts, I don't want to say cuts off, he limits the circulation to my lower extremities and forces all of the blood in my like upper region, my upper body, there we go, to have more circulation and increase my blood pressure. So it does take a minute, but it's like when if you have POTS, then you know when you're dealing with one of those really nauseating pre-syncope episodes, it really helps to basically shorten the episode or prevent me from passing out. So he does that. That's probably that, and him picking things up are definitely our two most used tasks at the moment. And then his other thing, which is like his emergency response, is Henry is able to go and grab my husband in an emergency. I am in like the shower or in the, what was I gonna say? Sorry. If I'm in the shower or like in like the bathroom and I was trying to get back to bed and I could not freaking get back to bed. And our bedroom is attached to our bathroom, but it's kind of like a far walk when you have POTS. So anyways, couldn't get back to bed. Like I was just collapsed on the floor. And I'm able to give Henry the command and he goes and wakes up my husband. He wakes up my husband by like nudging him. And then he'll come back to me if my husband doesn't get up. And then he'll go back to my husband. So a lot of the times, I don't want to say a lot of the times, but during the nighttime, if Henry wakes my husband up, my husband generally knows 9 times out of 10, like, okay, like she needs me. But if it's during the day, like he's working, so he's kind of like in his own zone, Henry will go get him. If he does not like, and he'll bite at his wrist, and if he doesn't respond, he'll come back down, check on me, and then go back up. And the second time around is when my husband, it like clicks. He's like, oh shoot. And then he comes in, helps, do whatever. Usually it's just, my husband like usually just has to carry me to bed or something of that nature. And we're also working on him doing that in stores where it's not exactly like a 911 emergency situation, but it's like a, hey, like I'm in a store stuck in X, Y, and Z spot and we need you. So that has been like, honestly, a task that I never thought we would use that's become incredibly helpful, and I just pray that we never have to use it in the store. But nonetheless, we are working on it because better to teach something and not have to use it than, you know what I'm saying? Right, come here. Come here. All the way. Good boy, lay down. Good job. So, yeah, those are those. And then as far as things that Henry will be learning, because Henry turns 2 next month, and he will be having his hips and his elbows x-rayed to make sure that everything looks good, and you know that like we don't have any hip dysplasia or elbow dysplasia going on. After he turns 2, and then we get the go-ahead, we're going to continue like implementing more of our mobility tasks, which would be our forward momentum, which basically when you have something like POTS or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you just get fatigued and exhausted really easily. And when you're more exhausted, you're definitely more at risk of passing out. So if you can limit that, it'll like decrease your like instances of pre-syncope or of passing out. So by doing forward momentum, Henry will be able to relieve some of like, I know it sounds funny if you're like a normal, healthy, functioning person, but he'll be able to like, relieve some of like the stress and the exertion of walking. So we're going to be working on that. And yeah, we have started actually working on that, but I just don't do it a ton now because I got a little bit discouraged because I was like, well, what if he doesn't pass his things and then we're working on this for nothing? So, but we have like some of the basic things down. So that's for forward momentum. And then we're also going to do bracing. So when you do need to, or when I need to, not you, but when I do need to sit down in a store or in like a random area, like if I was to sit down right now, other than like the floor, there's nothing for me to like push up off of to like help myself get up without further like exerting myself or like having to like a squat to get up. So when a dog is taught to brace, they're taught to literally brace for the pressure like placed directly on their back to help you up, but they need to have good scores in terms of their elbows and hips to be able to do that, because it is a you know, it is like a, that I would consider that heavy mobility. I don't know, but they need to be specifically trained to do it. It's not just like your dog stands up and like you just press up on them, because you can really mess them up. So I hope that that answers all of your questions. I think that I got all of them. I know, right, Henry? But if you guys follow us on Instagram, you'll be able to see like basically all of the instances of him doing his task work and everything that we're either learning or have learned. Yeah, but thank you guys for watching. I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight into like a working dog's life, and thank you for watching. So Henry, should we give him a kiss? Thank you. Another one, kiss. Thank you. Bye guys.